Hello, welcome to the programme. We're live until 11 this morning. Do get in touch with your thoughts on everything we're talking about this morning on the programme. #VictoriaLive. And remember, if you're emailing and you are happy for us to contact you and maybe want to take part in the programme, please do include your phone number in your message, and text will be charged at the standard network rate. Right now, let's catch up with all the news with Anita. Morning. Anita, severe weather warnings, meaning there is a danger to life, are in place across large parts of northern England after hours of torrential rain. There's been flooding, mudslides and serious disruption to roads and trains. More than 110 flood warnings are in place. In Sheffield, there's been major this morning, and the local council has told residents. Maureen Parker's house is just beyond the River Don at Barnby Dun in Doncaster, and she's been put on evacuation notice by the council. And we can talk to her now. Maureen, thank you. What is it like where you are? Any closer?
Very easy.
No, it's a fair distance from your house at the moment. What is the sort of worst case scenario that you're potentially braced for?
Well, the worst case scenario.
Flooded before?
No, never. We've been very...
There. Thank you for joining us. We can also talk now to Church Warden Liz Dobbin, who joins us on the line from Barnby Dun near Doncaster, where, as we were just saying, the river levels are rising near to the church. Thank you for joining us, Liz. What is the situation where you are?
Well, we're quite a long way.
The water currently from the church. I know you said you're a bit away from the church at the moment yourself.
Well, it's as far away.
On the website. Still to come, the woman who sold her nan's jewellery to pay. For political parties, election campaigns are always meticulously planned affairs, but more often than not, those plans can be thrown into complete disarray by unexpected events. And it is fair to say that there have been a fair few of those for both of the main parties this week. For the Conservatives, the most significant was the resignation of Cabinet Minister Alan Cairns, following revelations that he knew about a former aide's role in the collapse of a rape trial. He'd previously claimed to have no knowledge of it. But how big an effect has the controversy had on the ground? On what do voters think it says about the Conservative Party? Our reporter Jim Reid went to Mr Cairns' constituency, the Vale of Glamorgan in South Wales, to find out. In addition to Mr Cairns, the following candidates are also standing in the Vale of Glamorgan: Sally Stevenson, Welsh Liberal Democrats; Belinda Loveluck Edwards, Welsh Labour; Ian Johnson, Plaid Cymru, and the close of nominations is the 14th of November. Well, that kicked off quite a crazy week, didn't it? The resignation of Alan Cairns as Welsh Secretary was just one of a number of standout moments during the first week of this general election campaign. In an unexpected move, Tom Watson stepped down as Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, whilst two former Labour MPs urged people not to vote for Jeremy Corbyn and instead vote Conservative. Jacob Rees-Mogg was widely criticised for comments he made about the Grenfell Tower fire. This while the NHS and the economy became the main battlegrounds, with all of the main parties making billions of pounds of spending promises. And this morning, two more candidates have stood down. Well, they say a week is a long time in politics, but it's an even longer time when you're in the middle of an election campaign. So let's look back at the last 7 days with the political writer and academic, both of you. Well, there's so much to choose from. What's your... Another aspect that got a lot of coverage this week was that edited version of Keir Starmer on Good Morning Britain. I think we can take a look actually at the clip. Well, thank you. The topic of virginity testing has sparked an international debate after the American rapper T.I. said he sends his 18-year-old daughter for a yearly hymen check to ensure she is still a virgin. It's a practice that is not commonly associated with the West, but it remains widespread in certain parts of the world. The World Health Organization has previously called for an end to what it describes as medically unnecessary, harmful and a violation of human rights. And the Victoria Derbyshire programme has been exclusively told it is still going on underground in the UK today. We can talk to Dr. Obviously, what T.I. has said has caused a lot of shock and outrage, and it's shone a light on something that probably most of us thoughts on that. The Victims Commissioner has said that dating apps should take more responsibility to verify users to help prevent romance fraud. It's after this programme spoke to two victims of a man named Ivan Nkazi, who was jailed for conning 19 women out of £24,000 after meeting them online. One of the women, Chloe, which is not her real name, sold her nan's jewellery to foot the bill of the fraud. The scammer had threatened to come to her house, so she felt she had no other choice but to meet his demands. Simon O'Leary reports. And you can see that report again on our programme page. Now, foreign workers who want to move to Britain and work for the NHS would be able to skip the visa queue and pay less to enter the country under new plans announced today by the Conservatives. They'd also allow people to pay back the £400 a year compulsory health insurance more slowly. The Tories are calling it the NHS visa and say it will help to solve a shortage of doctors and nurses in the health service. But how significant would these changes really be, and do they do anything to address the staffing problems in social care? Our reality check correspondent.
And as you say, newly recruited staff would also be able to pay their own healthcare costs rather than paying it up front. They'd be able to pay it as their salary came in. A lot of doctors say it's not just about cost, it's also about bureaucracy. Sometimes it can take months for hospitals to sort out visas for people coming. And if you've got workers, social workers, etc. And there is also a big, an acute staff shortage in the social care system, about 8% of the total, so getting on for 1 in 10, which is about the same as the NHS. And this new NHS visa, and it's obvious the Tories would like to have a story about the NHS in the election, which is positive for them. But
to what Labour are announcing today, family-friendly measures. What's the detail?
Yeah, a lot of it's about women in the workplace, and one of the things they want to do is increase maternity leave, but it's all at full pay. So that's about 10 months, but it's all at full pay. So a considerably better offer. The United States, on the other hand, there is no statutory maternity leave at all. So to increase from 9 months to a year, the potential to have shared parental leave, so new fathers can share in new parenting responsibilities. That was a policy brought in by the coalition government, the Conservatives and the Lib Dems. The problem with that is it's difficult to get figures, but it appears the uptake of that offer of shared parental leave is...
Thank you very much, Chris. Let's just bring you some comments coming in from you on the virginity testing. A Victorian dad on Twitter says if the age of adulthood in that part of America is 18, I suggest that this young lady get a lawyer and sue her father for whatever will apply. Disgusting, controlling way to treat his daughter. Marina on Twitter says more medieval male dominance over females. Virginity testing is about control, control, control. Patricia on email, are boys ever checked, or is it not even a question? Parminder on email, virginity testing was used by the state, the UK government, in the immigration process in the 1970s and 80s. The rationale was to assess if a woman coming from the Indian subcontinent to get married was telling the truth. As Asian women, we protested strongly against this state practice. And Claire on text said, I actually, as a 43-year-old woman, feel traumatised hearing this practice happens. Who on earth thinks they have a right to check a daughter's hymen? Where are the mothers? It's tantamount to abuse, coercion, bullying. I'm in utter shock. I hope, like FGM, we stamp this out immediately. Thank you for those comments. Now, when it comes to politics, are we becoming even more divided by age? The polls suggest in this election that age is one of the key factors in deciding who we're going to vote for. Pollsters YouGov found 4 in 10 18 to 29-year-olds plan to vote Labour, while 4 in 10 50 to 59-year-olds are voting Tory. And the older you get, the more pronounced the divisions become. 6 in 10 over 70s plan to back the Conservatives, compared with just 16% of 18 to 24-year-olds. Well, I'm going to speak now to 3 generations. You're all voting this time in the general election campaign. Obviously, you don't yet know who the Tory candidate's going to be in your constituency.
Being announced today.
Primary concern in this election, are any other issues cutting?